I mean, you get fans kind of all over the world, and I mean, today it's a cultural thing being in Chinatown, and you get to see, I mean, tons of Flames jerseys that wide. Obviously, we went to China last year, so hopefully we can just spread it out and get more fans.
There's a growing number of interest in hockey among Chinese-speaking immigrants in Alberta, especially in Calgary, where my special guest today has a lot to do with what's happening in this arena. Brian Wong is a professional sportscaster and producer and host of Flames TV Chinese, not to mention the executive director of the BIA in Chinatown. Of course, Brian, thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Judy.
Awesome. Well, let's start with the Flames TV Chinese, of course. You are the producer and host of that show. So what's the feeling like when you are presenting the battle between the Oilers and the Flames in your own language, especially Cantonese and Mandarin, and having Chinatown in a frenzy?
Well, we have to take out a lot of information about what happened in the 80s, right? 31 years, it's been a long time, but lots of stories. Hey, I've been there. I've watched that, Dave Semenko, what they did, and Wayne Gretzky, whatnot, right? So those conversations are here to stay in Alberta, and to bring those stories to newcomers, to people who have not seen a game in hockey, that opens a lot of portals, a lot of opportunities for us to talk about the DNA of Canadians, the DNA of Calgarians as well.
Everybody that's here is really excited to be here. Whether they speak English or not, they want to shake your hand, they want to take a picture with you.
So in Chinatown, lots of people watch, lots of people talk about it. In any restaurant, sometimes you see a few people donning the Flaming Sea red jerseys, and we see a few rare Edmonton Oilers fan boo, but it's part of the conversation that makes Alberta great. This is an opportunity for Alberta to come back, even just to benefit from the economic point of view. Fantastic.
For sure. And I'm just going to quote you a little bit on this one. You once said that learning about Canadian sports is part of the integration process of an immigrant's journey. And you come from Hong Kong at a young age, and you mentioned that sports brought you closer to Canadian culture. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Oftentimes we think about the country of origin. For me, Hong Kong is a metropolitan, and sometimes sports and recreation may be not in the top priority of day-to-day life. But once you get to Calgary or Canada, it allows you to kind of open your eyes and see lots of options that you can join: a sport class, a club, play a game, a tournament, whatnot. So I think, when you're on the field, sports is an equalizer, just like fashion. When we talk about food, when we talk about arts, it brings people together. I have experienced firsthand because of sport, playing in a soccer team. I know people, like a wide variety of people, and they are down to earth, they're friendly. That really sticks in my mind, and that's why I chose Calgary to stay. But yeah, I would tell anyone who have not experienced that to be part of it, be part of sports, and make some friends.
Well, speaking of sports and language, obviously, Hockey Night in Canada, Punjabi, has really become a power player in the industry. And what are your hopes in terms of Flames TV Chinese in getting that same type of clout?
I think the mentality of one shift at a time would apply here. Yes, we have Flames TV. We have stories of Asian fans, Chinese fans. We also want to kind of slowly expand that. My hope would be some sort of like a weekly update, maybe a monthly magazine type of a show, and to eventually let people understand the rules a little bit. If you don't understand the rules, it's hard to follow the puck where it is, right? And we have to do some education as well. Of course, stories of players, stories of the franchise is also important, because it a strong root in Calgary. And eventually, of course, if there is a strong demand, I hope one day there is a Chinese commentary that we will see, just like Hockey Night in Canada in Punjabi. Yeah, that's my biggest goal.
Let's cross our fingers. Hopefully it's you, and I love what you do. Well, language is such a key player in breaking down barriers in Canadian sports, of course, in the culture and beyond. There's so much we can discuss in terms of this topic, but also a lot of things are happening in Chinatown coming up. Really quickly, tell us a bit about the upcoming events that are happening in Chinatown BIA.
The biggest one is August 20th, Chinatown Street Festival in Chinatown. This will be the 20th edition. Well, if not for COVID, it will be the 22nd year in Chinatown already, right? So thousands of people, we're expecting 50,000 people coming to Chinatown to enjoy one of the most unique districts, very multicultural, including food, vendors, kids zone, and the performance stage, whatnot. So that would be the biggest event that I would welcome anyone to come. And also we will live stream the opening ceremony as well. If you're not in Calgary, don't worry about it. We will showcase our multiculturalism just right in front of the screen. The other one that we give back to the community is Stampede Breakfast. There will also be Lantern Festival in September and coming up. Looking forward to the next Chinese New Year as well. So lots of events going on at the same time.
Definitely. Great stuff, Brian. Thanks. We're out of time. Of course, I'm hoping to continue this conversation in more detail very soon with you. And thanks again for giving us a glimpse of what you've been up to. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.